Aloha. Welcome to Lights Drama Action. Today's gonna be a interesting video. We're gonna go over. I'm gonna do reaction to popular trending video about someone saying they got a BBL and it stinked, right? And I've always been curious about that because I think a few months ago, there was a video that's kind of like scrolled through my timeline about like a doctor saying, "Hey, this BBL stinks," right? And this is the video here. Let's see. And we're gonna go over this video, but first, the plastic surgeon says, answering the question, "Does BBL smells?" Right? So before we do that, I want to go over the trend video and kind of like get her anecdotal experience about her BBL and saying like it smells, right? And then we're gonna go to like a professional and hear what they think about the BBL smell, right? So again, relax and let's get started. Let's not take too long and let's get started, okay? And I'm getting this original TikTok, this ticket to the talk from K Montana 24. I'm gonna leave this link to the description to her original video, so please check it out and let me know what you think, okay? And don't forget to leave a comment. Perfect, my audio sounds good. And let's get started. Again, don't forget to hit the like and also subscribe. So let's get started with her video about her anecdotal experience about having a smelly BBL. But
just because I wasn't afraid to get on here and say my BBL smelled like dumpster juice and y'all or don't make me the villain. When you go through it, get through it, and heal through it, you are able to talk about it. And those that got the skeletons trapped in their closet will envy you. Y'all made up every excuse to why my BBL was stinking. I wasn't washing up. I didn't have money to pay for massages. Instead of just saying, oh, her body rejected it like I told y'all in the first fucking place. That's the problem with a lot of y'all bogus ass content creators now. All y'all do is piggyback off of other people's story, and when it don't fit y'all narrative or y'all don't agree, y'all want to talk shit. But the same people y'all talking shit on is the same ones that's putting money in your pocket simply because you don't have a brain of your own or you're afraid to come out with your story, scared about what somebody else got to say. And to that little weak ass surgeon from Miami that was talking shit, boy, please, Google is free. It ain't no one person. Or you fucking crazy? Just because I wasn't afraid.
Well, we're not gonna make fun of her. I'm actually curious as to know what the right answer is if BBL does have a smell. So her original story, I think this is here.
I've been getting a lot of messages from different women asking me to tell their story. So I'm going to tell y'all a story that I just received tonight. She captioned her story, "The Infection They Tried to Ignore." I went out of state for my BBL because a friend recommended this up-and-coming clinic. It looked professional enough, clean, organized, and the staff seemed nice. The price was lower than most places, but I thought I was getting a good deal. The surgery went fine at first. The pain was intense, but expected. I was swollen, bruised, and sore, normal post-op stuff. But about day 5 in, I started noticing a strange smell. At first, I thought maybe I wasn't cleaning myself well enough, even though I was following the aftercare instructions to the letter. Then I noticed one of the incisions on my lower back felt warm, too warm. The area was red, hard.
So based on what I've heard here just so far, right? It sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like, I guess it's based on an individual because I want to know if all BBL smell. So
and the smell.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna actually have hear from a plastic surgeon and see and hear what his personal experience is, or like in terms of like doing the surgery if it does come to like some kind of like foul smell. So
smell started getting worse. It was a sour and rotten smell. When I called the clinic, they brushed it off, told me it was normal healing and to give it a few more days. By day 7, the pain was unbearable and pus was draining from the incision. I ended up in urgent care where they immediately told me I had a deep tissue infection, necrotizing fasciitis. I hope I got that right. The bacteria had started killing the tissue inside my body. They rushed me to the hospital and I had to go through emergency surgery to remove the infected tissue. I stayed in the hospital for over a week on IV antibiotics, scared out of my mind. I survived, but I was left with a permanent scarring and had to have reconstructive surgery months later. My body is forever changed, not by the BBL I wanted, but by the damage it left behind.
Okay, that's someone else's story. Let's see. I want to try to find her original video. I think, let's see.
Part 3 on how I got my BBL surgically removed because my sit down.
So that's part 3. So let's go. Let's see. This is part 1.
So this is part 2. So this one.
Anyway, so I guess we're gonna start in part 2.
So this is part 2 on why I had to get my BBL surgically removed. So in part 1, I was telling y'all how my sit down ear was stinking real bad, and it got to the point to where I had to carry around a bottle of air freshener or a bottle of perfume, because when I would use public restrooms, it would stink so bad and the smell would linger.
Oh my.
It was like an embarrassment. I didn't want to come out the bathroom with it smelling like that and someone else was waiting at the door. When I say that BBL really ruined my life, I even lost my boyfriend behind it. He was telling me the whole time, like, you're stinking real bad down there and I can't stomach.
Yeah, for her to come out and tell her truth like this and just like put it on the table, that's very strong of her to do so, because I know a lot of people would not do that. So I like that about her.
Yeah. First I'm in denial, like, no, you're hating, you're mad, I got a BBL. It was the truth. It got to the point to where I would be washing my laundry, weekly, like I've been doing before I got the BBL. When I would get my laundry out of the dryer, it would still smell like that raw eating flesh. I really was like, so this one day,
That's
me and my boyfriend, we getting ready, to do something. So this is part 2 on why I had to get my...
goodness. Again, stay tuned. We're actually gonna go to a plastic surgeon, and this video came to my feed a long time ago, so I'm finally gonna watch it now. A plastic surgeon like reacted like BBL smelling and response to that. If all BBL smells just like certain like types, maybe it depends on where you go to or who get it done, or it just maybe your body react differently to it.
So this one day, me and my boyfriend, we getting ready, to do something. So first, let me say, my boyfriend at the time did not want me to get the procedure done, but I insisted. Me and my sister went to get the procedure done together. And before I got the procedure done, I joined the group on Facebook. It was like a support group. Different women that got it, that's in relationships, just for, to talk about it. So a lot of women in the group was pretty much saying, when you get it, your boyfriend is going to be jealous, so just keep an eye out on that. So when he was telling me it was smelly down there, I was going to the group saying, he's saying it's smelly down there. They was basically telling me to ignore him. He's jealous, but he'll eventually come around. So me and my sister got the procedure done at the same time. So at first, mine was healing up good. It was healing normal. So was my sister's. And I would ask her, is you healing well? She would tell me, yeah. I was healing well maybe the first 6 to 7 weeks. But after that, it kept on leaking and kept on draining. I was asking my sister how hers was doing. She said she was not leaking or draining. Mine would close up, but then like a day or two later, it would start leaking again. So I used to put gauze and dressings on it to support the leakage while I may have been outside or out and about. So that's why I had it for a year with the leakage, because there would be points that it would close up, or I would think it was closed up
What, a year? And ooh,
fully, but it wasn't. So one day me and my boyfriend was about to do something, and he just was like, I cannot take the smell anymore, and he broke up with me and he left. And that was pretty much that. But he was telling me
for a whole year,
for months.
Okay.
But me listening to the women in a group thinking they knew what they was talking about, it kind of messed everything up for me. It even got to the point I was wearing jeans in the summertime because it was an embarrassment even looking at it. I'm going to upload the picture right here. So this one day.
Okay. So this is what, part 3?
I wasn't expecting my video.
I guess some parts are missing. I'm just going to skip that from now, but I think we get the majority of the story. Let's see
I
what we have
wasn't
here.
expecting my video to blow up like it did, but I have a lot of women angry with me. They are reporting me.
What?
They're commenting nasty things. I'm just about to delete everything.
That's one thing about social media, though. The same people that would say like they like truth tellers or they want like the truth, the government is lying, is the same individuals that when you tell them the truth, they hate you for it. And that's just the nature of the game. It's just like she's the first one to come out with this story. To me personally, that's kind of trending like this, right? And her having the audacity to do so, she's gonna have a lot of haters. She's just literally telling her story. But some people don't want that. They don't like that. Just feel like, well, they're gonna think everyone believes that like BBL stinks. But again, we're gonna find out later on. But we'll see. But again, shout out to her for like really coming out and telling her story.
And go about my business, because when I say this is crazy,
I'm not surprised.
It's like they removed the sound from my other video.
Damn.
I wasn't saying anything, but I guess I did not fit their narrative. They're not happy about my experience. That's pretty much what I was saying. They denied that. They said they're not putting my sound back up. So I'm going to just... The crazy part is so many women pissed off at me.
Yeah.
I don't even know who to start to block so they could stop reporting me. They're just coming at a rapid pace. So I'm done, y'all. I'm just like, I didn't know people was going to get mad like this. I just thought I was...
I wish I covered the story when it was trending originally, right? Maybe I could have had part 1 to like the whole line of the series, right? Because it looks like a lot of parts are missing now. I guess I have to like go to YouTube, like listen to it. But after today, probably we'll see. It depends if the story develops more. But
sharing experience.
I want to hear what the plastic surgeon has to say.
But I'm done. This BBL trap don't play. I wasn't expecting my video to blow up like.
Okay, so that's part 5. Let's see.
Part 3 on how I got my BBL surgery.
So it's going around. So now what we want to do is that we kind of get the idea of her anecdotal experience. So I want to just get from a plastic surgeon like knowledge, like see what he thinks about like BBL having a smell. There's several men that have said that, right? So let's kind of hear. I have 2 videos I'm going to go over. Same individual, right? So I want to know if BBL do have a smell.
Yeah, those BBLs be stinking.
In order for you to have a BBL, you have to stink for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's a sad reality of a BBL.
Do BBLs really smell bad? Well, let's break it down on this video today. The term BBL smell, or the phrase BBLs be smelling, is going viral on social media. People are claiming...
Wait, this video was how long ago? Let's see. A year ago.
That women who undergo BBL surgeries smell bad afterwards. Is that true? Let's hear what some people are saying.
BBL smells is trending. And there are a lot of reasons for that smell.
So I don't know what he was trained in, if he's a physician, if he is in the medical field, but he obviously has some of his own ideas. Now, first of all, before we hear what his thoughts are, what is a BBL? The BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift. And this is an operation.
I'm going to skip right through some of this parts.
They have to reach back there and really clean. You know what I'm saying? And if they're not used to doing that, they might not know that, hey, you sweat differently. Everything is different when you add that much more meat back there. That thing can't breathe as good.
So I think he's saying that it's harder to clean back there when your butt is so much bigger.
Sense.
And not having had a BBL, I can't say for sure if that's true, but I guess theoretically that could be the case. It's just harder to maybe reach back there.
When you get a BBL, your ass is so rock hard. Like, I could barely get toilet paper and like a hand between my butt cheeks, let alone like an enema. And that thing is tiny.
So there is truth here. When you undergo a BBL surgery, depending on how much fat is injected into the butt can feel real hard and firm. And this is something, I used to do BBLs back in the day. I don't do them anymore. And even the ones that I did, I would only inject maybe 300 or 400 cc's into each butt cheek. Now, how much is 300 or 400 cc's? Well, it's about 1/3 to 1/2 of a 1 liter canister, or let's say 1/4 of a 2 liter. So we're not talking a huge amount of fluid. And that much was enough oftentimes to cause a butt to feel pretty firm and hard. Well, there are doctors who are...
Holy crap, I didn't know that. I always thought those women that like have BBL, I always thought those things looks weird. To me, I don't know. I always feel like those things they always to me give me off like, I'm not sure if that's a man trying to be a woman, and it always gives me a real weird thing. So I always stay away from those things. Like it creeps me out. Again, this is how I feel about that. So I don't want like the BBL gang to like come after me, but as they went after the person that we just saw that gave her experience, and look what happened. Other women are going after her, but I didn't know it firms up like that. That's starting to make sense then.
Injecting literally 1 liter or even 2 liters into each butt cheek. And if that's the case, can you imagine how hard those butts will be afterwards?
I think that girls just aren't wiping good enough or cleaning between their butt cheeks after they do the number 2 good enough. And that's what's stinking. So if you get a BBL, I suggest this to anyone, but I highly suggest using baby wipes to wipe.
So that tends to be the most common hypothesis of why BBLs smell, is that people just aren't able to wipe back there as well as they ideally should. One other option other than baby wipes, though, is to get a bidet, because that's a great way to clean your bottom without having to...
That's very popular in Asia, right? I was in Japan for 2 years, and that was a very popular thing to like see in restaurants. And when you go to the public like restroom, right, to see the toilet. I never tried that thing. I think it was like, again, it kind of just creeps me out a little bit. But I was told it's actually pretty good. So maybe if we ever have C19 again, I guess it's gonna be C25 or 2025. Or 2026 or whatever, I may actually get that installed in my house. So I don't have to worry about getting toilet paper.
And I really reach back there. But there are other theories that are being presented for the BBL smell of why this is happening. So let's hear from a guy who I think looks like a real expert at BBL.
And in the club, sometimes it do leave a little trail.
What?
Like we could be in the section and it could be like 2 or 3 BBL baddies. And you wondering like who the hell got cheesy fries? Like who got their socks out? Something don't smell right. It ain't the champagne, it ain't the Hennessy. It be them BBLs. And when they bundled up together, it's like a trash pile,
I feel bad laughing, but I mean, trash pile? Huh?
If you know this, let me know. Leave a comment. This sounds... Ugh.
Is the term BBL baddie really commonly used? This is the first I've heard of the term BBL baddie.
Yeah, there's a lot of terms that's the first time I've ever heard. I'm going to skip right through a little bit.
So the BBL made you probably like 170, 180. You're not used to that go around.
Okay, so If you have a BBL, fat is taken from one part of the body and injected into the butt. So you are removing fat and then putting it back in, and then some of that fat will once again go away. Your body will absorb it. You are not adding 20 pounds of somebody else's fat to your body. So if you weigh 150 pounds before your BBL, unless you gain weight naturally by eating too much and not, physical.
So when you cleaning,
that's one video. I want to watch another video from him. I'm starting to get the gist of it. So let's see.
To smell bad because she's Dominican.
Explain the
as
the BBL
expert. It sounds like she is an authority on BBLs and why BBL surgery may cause somebody to smell bad because she's Dominican.
What?
The smell doesn't come from the butt or from the vag. The smell comes from the fat excretions that are coming out.
Do tell more. Fat excretions?
It's a putrid smell.
Get a little bit of drainage.
This is one thing I love about the internet. You're gonna hear people like literally in the bathroom on the phone and just start making up stuff about like what things are. I want to hear from the surgeon. It looks like he's not gonna tell us exactly
she's saying
if it's a real thing, but I can only imagine like the firmness, which I didn't know before, right? Never been with anyone BBL. I think that's I think that's out. It spooks me out from like just looking at it, right? But I always think it's weird. I always feel like people that have that I've seen in real life, not online. To me, I can't even know. I feel like that's probably a man trying to like. That's what it gives me. That's what it gives me. Like I'm not. No, I'm not going there.
Then yes, you've got to worry about an infection. That is not an operation like this. You know, we get that fluid that we inject in the liposuction or a BBL surgery to get a little bit of drainage.
Okay. Let's go to another video that he made. So let's see. I think when did he make this second one? This second one was made, let's see, 6 months ago. Perfect. So this is an update to the last video.
It's because I heard BBLs be smelling. So I was wondering, is it the surgery that make the BBL smell? If you want a BBL, do you gotta sacrifice smelling like a bad bitch and smelling like 2 pounds of ass, really 10 pounds of ass for the rest of your life? You went from smelling like palm trees and cherry blossoms to 10 pounds of bounce that motherfucking monkey. Does getting a BBL insinuate that you're gonna stink for the rest of your life?
People are still talking about the BBL smell.
Exactly.
Is it real? Well, I thought in my previous BBL smell video that I cleared it up, but apparently I didn't because there's still quite a bit of confusion out there. So let's finally get to the bottom of the BBL smell. The BBL smell.
Apparently, there's 2 reasons why the BBL smells. Due to you having to get those lymphatic massages and get the drainage, that causes a certain smell that lingers for about 4 to 6 weeks post-op. Even after that, girls with their newfound bottom can't either reach or don't know how to properly go around their new bum to get far enough in between the cheeks so they can wash properly.
So this lovely woman believes that the BBL smell is due to either 4 to 6 weeks of drainage from the incisions or from basically just bad hygiene, not being able to clean back there properly. Well, the fact is that drainage does occur after liposuction surgery. The incisions can drain fluid for usually a day or 2, and this is often the anesthetic fluid that we inject to perform the liposuction.
I didn't want to do it this way.
But this fluid really doesn't have much of a smell at all unless it gets infected. And it's extremely rare to see these incisions drain for honestly more than a day or 2. Now, in regards to her second theory of why BBL smell may be real, let's return to that a little bit later. And here's another potential cause of the BBL smell, as very eloquently described by this influencer.
What the fuck? It smells like bounce the fuck that ass!
It sounds to me like the consensus is that like BBL does have a smell to it, Dad. That's what I'm getting from this. I don't think it's a good smell too. So at first I wasn't sure. Maybe like again, the first story you watched, maybe it was just her experience, but it sounds like, I don't know, man.
It smells like bounce the fuck out of that ass. Oh, somebody been bouncing the fuck out some ass.
Now, if somebody does not wash their faja afterwards, it can definitely smell like a dumpster behind a Chinese restaurant. But I don't know that not washing the faja can explain why the BBL smell appears to happen to so many people. Often you wear the faja for a month, maybe 2 months after the surgery, but if you're getting a BBL smell for months or years later, then that's not necessarily due to the faja.
Oh my God. What is that?
If BBL, I just thought about something. If BBL smell, right, and the guy was saying how like if 1 or 2 women that have BBLs walk by, how like the smell just like combined, right? Can you imagine what a music video smells like? I just thought about that. Can you? No, a rap music video. I don't think a country music video, right? Will like is good. Probably gonna have any like BBL. Can you imagine what a rap music video with like 10 BBL women there? What it smells like? Oh my goodness.
That smell.
Well, there are some doctors,
Smells like a rap
specifically
video.
plastic surgeons, not including me, who have weighed in on why the BBL smell might be real. Let's take a peek at one doctor's explanation.
So what are the reasons of why a BBL would smell? Well, really it goes back to anybody that has surgery. So in general, when you get anesthesia done, anesthesia uses some different types of gases with some fluorine in them, and that kind of smells a little bit funky. I don't think that's what causes smell.
Okay, let's go.
The second thing is, as you are healing, especially in that acute period, your body is changing a little bit in its metabolic profile. So you will notice metabolic changes in smells. My best example of this is actually for people that diet. When they really push carbs way low, they'll actually get into something called ketosis, and they'll actually make ketones out of their fat, and they'll actually breathe that ketones off, and that actually makes a fruity smell. Some people like it, some people don't. The third reason that a lot of people are going to smell from liposuction is that liposuction drains a lot of fluid. It's very, very normal. Now, in some of that fluid is going to be blood, which specifically is going to be iron. And iron is so important to your body because it helps to capture and hold oxygen in hemoglobin, that you smell iron all the time. If you can smell it, you'll be like, that smells kind of like iron.
Well, these are all true, and I do credit the good doctor for his in-depth analysis. Now, his first explanation about anesthesia and having those gases on your breath, that is true, but it only really lasts Now, as far as the drainage of blood causing a smell of iron and the metabolic changes, well, these really settle down within a matter of a couple of days, like I mentioned earlier about the drainage. And so that won't necessarily explain why you've got baddies in the clubs many months later who appear to have the BBL smell. So is it possible that the BBL smell is all just cap, that it's not real? Well, this next gentleman really presents himself as somebody who knows what he's talking about.
So my guy Don P says BBLs stink. I've had multiple women with BBLs.
Okay.
They don't stink, my dude.
Okay.
Now, the women who have the BBL might stink.
What?
It sounds like you had a case of some bad cooter.
Okay, so here's my take. There's nothing about getting a BBL surgery that's going to make you smell due to the operation itself. You don't get drainage for weeks afterwards unless you have a complication like some type of an infection, and that can definitely smell, but it's also very rare. I believe that the BBL smell is basically due to poor hygiene. It can be very difficult to wash in that area if it is different than it used to be, and especially if you get a large BBL performed. But
what is so attractive about that? It's just my opinion. What's so it looks
different
so
than it used to be, and
look at this. How if you're listening to this, just pause and watch this. How is this attractive? Like the legs is just very thin, and just like it looks like the proportion is just weird. To me, like if I just don't know that person, right? That's probably a celebrity, right? If I don't know that celebrity, or I just think it's an average Joe, right? I'm not even gonna show that's a man or women. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks weird to me. Just don't look. I don't know. This is just my opinion.
And especially if you get a large BBL performed. But the BBL smell is not a medical condition. It's not something that is irreversible if you get the operation, and could be something that could be solved with a bidet or some other type of nice hygienic cleansing system. So why did this whole BBL smell phenomenon start? Well, take a peek at this video right up here where I go into all the details of the BBL smell. Where did it start? Who are these baddies in the club that you may be hearing about? All of it is in this video and explained very, very well.
Okay, I like the second video. I think I did a good job with like summarizing do BBS smell, right? I think we got the answer. I think it's just poor hygiene. That's what it comes down to. And just, again, having this enlarged rear end and not being properly taken care of. So that's what it sounded like to me, right? But again, this is what we know now. Next year, maybe a whole different answer why that's the case. So it looks like the mystery is solved. Just one episode, okay? Anyway, I think that's all I have for today. Oh, and I'm actually gonna come back, so don't forget to subscribe and like this video. I'm gonna do another video about something totally different. So if you're watching a different day, also again, go to my live and just click on the next video, okay? So that's it for today. For now, I'm gonna be back in the next 30 minutes or so, okay? Again, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. But again, to answer the question, it looks like it's just poor hygiene in context of hey, having this new extra thing on your rear, right? And not being properly cleaned, okay? So does BBS smell? Well, it varies based on an individual. It should not smell, but it does for some individual. Okay, I think that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.